Hi, I'm Rick Lopes with the Contractor State License Board, and today we're in Santa Rosa, California, the scene of some devastating wildfires where upwards of 5,700 homes were destroyed in this area. And what we'd like to do for the next few minutes is to run over some of the tips for fire victims that they better understand the kinds of steps that they need to go through, the things they need to learn and understand before they hire a contractor to help them either make repairs to their home or in many cases to actually rebuild their home. So we're going to spend a few minutes kind of going over some of the tips. I also want you to note that we're out here in this area providing information to homeowners, but we've got some signs that we're posting around the area, and there's a couple different messages that the warnings that we have regarding any of these wildfires in California. One of them is the warning for homeowners is to be aware that unlicensed or unscrupulous contractors may try to scam them. So we're out here trying to help the fire victims understand that there could be people out here as they look to rebuild or make their repairs, that there could very well be people out here trying to take advantage of them or looking to take advantage of them. So one of our warning signs that we're posting in this area has to do with that for the homeowners. So we're getting the word out to them. So we've got the signs both in English and Spanish. The other signs that we're posting in this area actually have to do for the warnings for the unlicensed contractors. Normally, contracting without a license in California is charged as a criminal misdemeanor. Many times, even though you could get some time in county jail, your chances are you're going to get a fine. But because of the disaster declaration from Governor Brown, that puts a special enhanced penalty in place. So if you get caught contracting without a license in a declared disaster area, which this area is of Sonoma County, along with many of the other counties in Northern California where there have been serious wildfires, if you get caught contracting without a license, and that could be as simple as just out there looking for work. You don't actually have to be doing the work. You don't actually have to have been given money. If you're just out there soliciting work, you could be charged with a felony, and that could lead up to 16 months in state prison or a fine of up to $10,000. So for the word to unlicensed contractors is really stay away from the disaster area. Don't come in and try to work. There's going to be lots of eyes that are out here looking for you. And if you do get caught, there's a very good chance you could face felony charges. So these are the signs that we've got that we're posting around the fire areas. We're giving a lot of information to the fire victims at the various different local assistance centers. I'll just take a few minutes to just talk about some of the things that the fire victims should be looking at when they're doing their search for a contractor. The first thing is to make sure that that contractor has a state license. In California, the law is very clear about that. It says that any job that's a home improvement job that's more than $500 in materials and service needs to be done by somebody with a state license. So the first thing, if you do nothing else, is by just making sure that the contractor you hire is licensed by the state of California. That's going to go a long way to make sure that you're going to have a good result from your construction experience. So checking that license is important, and especially how you're going to find out about that contractor. If you see somebody's truck parked down the street, if you see an ad online, you get a flyer or any of those kinds of things, you see an ad in the newspaper, on TV, on the radio, by law, the contractor is required to have their contractor's license number in that advertisement. So you want to look for that. It's either going to be a 6 or 7-digit number. So you want to write down that number. You want to go to the Contractors Board website, which is at www.cslb.ca.gov. You want to punch in that 6 or 7-digit number and you want to check out that license. The main things you want to look for is you want to make sure that that person is actually they got the name. So if you have, Joe's Construction is the person that you've got the flyer from, you want to look and you want to make sure that license was given to Joe's Construction. The other thing is you want to make sure that it's in the right classification. In California, the general building contractor is called a B classification. So many of these jobs are probably going to be needed to be done by a B contractor. So if you see that they've got a license to do electrical work, which says C10, then you know they're not licensed to be doing the work of building a house. So you want to make sure you take a look at that license classification. The other information that's really important is workers' compensation insurance. By law in California, contractors, if they have any employees, they're required to cover those employees with workers' comp insurance. And what that means is that if somebody should happen to get hurt while they're on your property, that workers' comp insurance will take care of them. Now, if you don't have workers' comp insurance and somebody gets hurt, there's a very good chance they're going to be coming after you as the homeowner to take care of their medical bills. And that's really the last thing that you want to have happen to you after everything that's happened over the past couple of weeks, is then all of a sudden you're paying somebody's medical bills because you didn't take that step. So you want to be sure to take a look and see that they've got workers' comp insurance if they're going to have employees. By law, they've got to provide the Contractors Board with either their policy information or they need to sign a form that says that they've got no employees and therefore they're exempt. So if when you look up their license, if you see that they have an exemption there, but then they tell you that they've got employees, there's a clear disconnect there. It's a red flag that you want to ask some questions. And don't be afraid to ask them to see a copy of their policy, and maybe even call the insurance company and make sure it's a good policy. It's not unusual, unfortunately, for contractors to sometimes lie or mislead on their policies, and maybe they said they've got 3 office workers when in fact they've got 6 people who work out in the field trying to do something to cut their costs. So that's something that you want to be aware of as well. You also want to be aware of in these first few days after the disaster is be aware of people coming in saying that they want you to hire them and they'll negotiate on your behalf with your insurance company. Those are called public adjusters. By law, they're licensed in California, but the law also says they cannot come into a disaster area for 1 week after you're allowed back into the area. So if you've got people approaching you asking you to sign up a contract with them to allow them to negotiate with your insurance company on your behalf, you should be aware that that's breaking the law. The other thing you want to really be careful of is anybody who's asking you to hire you on the spot, to hire them on the spot, and to actually give them a bunch of money up front to get started. In California, the laws for down payments say that they can ask for no more than 10% or $1,000, whichever's less. So if you're going to hire somebody for a $5,000 contract, they can ask for no more than $500 as that down payment. So when you're looking for the contractor, if they're saying that they need a bunch of the money, half the money up front, or thousands of dollars to get started, that should be another clear red flag to you that they're trying to take advantage of you. So those are some of the tips. Go to our Contractors Board website, which is cslb.ca.gov. Right there on the homepage, you can click on the Disaster Help Center and get a lot more information. We also do have a 25-minute video called Rebuilding After a Natural Disaster. It will help take you through the steps that you'll need to be aware of. One of the other questions you'll want to look at that video for is to classify what's the difference between a home improvement project and a new construction project, because the laws are different regarding those two. So it's one of the early questions you're going to need to answer. Is my project going to be just a home improvement project, or because of the devastation, is it going to be a full new construction? You definitely want to be aware of the differences in what laws will be in effect. Any questions, be sure to visit CSLB staff at any of the local assistance centers. Go to the website. You can also call our disaster hotline, which is in service Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that toll-free number is 800-962-1125. 800-962-1125. Please take advantage of our resources. We're here to help, and know that you're not going to be alone during this rebuilding process. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your attention.